If you care about your health and your manhood, this video is a must-watch. Hi, I'm Dr. Laura Bennett, a board-certified urologist with over 20 years of experience, and you're watching Men's Health Insights. Today, I'm going to share 10 things you should never do to your penis. And chances are, you're doing at least one of them without even realizing it. Over the years, I've seen it all, from home remedies gone wrong to serious conditions that could have been prevented with one simple visit to the doctor. A lot of men unknowingly harm themselves, and my goal with this video is to make sure that's not you. But first, let me ask you something. What's one thing you've always thought was totally normal when it comes to your penis, but now you're not so sure? Drop it in the comments. I guarantee you're not the only one. Your question might just help someone else. And make sure you stick around for tip number 10. It's the one most guys overlook, but it could seriously protect your sexual function as you age. Oh, and just a heads up, even if everything seems to be working perfectly right now, this video might just change the way you think about your daily hot bath. And one quick favor, before we jump in. If you've been watching my videos and find them helpful, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you know someone who might benefit from this, share the video. Your brother, your dad, your best friend, they'll thank you later. Number 1, never ignore the signals your penis is giving you. Here's a fact that might surprise you. 1 in 3 men with erectile dysfunction already has undiagnosed cardiovascular disease, and they don't even know it. That's because erection problems are often the very first sign that something more serious is going on inside your body. Let me tell you about one of my patients, David, 51 years old. He came to my office saying his erections weren't quite what they used to be. He didn't smoke, didn't drink excessively, and felt pretty healthy overall. He assumed it was just stress or age, but after running some tests, we found early signs of atherosclerosis and a high risk of heart attack. We caught it early, and because of that, David was able to take control of his health before things got worse. The truth is, erections aren't just about sex. They're an integrated measure of your entire system. When everything's working, your heart pumps strong, your hormones are balanced, your nerves are responsive, and your stress levels are manageable. But when something's off, your body often tells you through changes in sexual function. In fact, studies show that 14% of men who develop erectile dysfunction will have a heart attack within the next 7 years. Why? Because the blood vessels in the penis are the smallest in the entire body. If they start to narrow or clog, it's a warning sign that other arteries might be next. So please, don't brush it off. Don't wait and hope it fixes itself. If you notice changes, talk to your doctor. It's always better to catch a problem early than to regret missing the chance. As you can see, even just this first point shows that it's rarely just a bad day when something's off. There's often something much deeper going on beneath the surface. That's exactly why I encourage you to stick with me through the rest of this video. Some of the upcoming points might completely change the way you think about your health. Number 2, don't DIY your penis. I know it might sound obvious, but the truth is, the internet is full of miracle methods for increasing size or restoring function. Creams, pills, stretching routines, even home chemical tricks. And a lot of men fall for them, especially older men. In fact, men over 60 are the most targeted group when it comes to unproven products and shady devices sold online. Why? Because this is the age where concerns about performance increase, but men are often too embarrassed to talk to a doctor. That makes you a perfect target for scammers. Let me be clear. There's no safe, at-home method to make your penis longer or thicker. None. And I've seen the consequences when men try. Take gel king, for example, a stretching technique where guys apply pressure along the shaft to lengthen it. What actually happens is small internal tears. Over time, these can cause scarring and even lead to erectile dysfunction. And the worst part? It's often permanent. And then there are the homemade constriction devices. I once treated a 60-year-old man who used a metal nut as a DIY erection ring. He passed out, and by the time he made it to the ER, his penis was so swollen we had to call the fire department to cut it off with a saw. Another man cut a ring from a plastic Coke bottle. Same result. Swelling, emergency room, trauma. If you need a constriction ring, just buy one. They cost about $20. They're designed to be safe, and you won't end up in the ER. The bottom line, your body, especially at this age, is not something to experiment with. These hacks are not harmless. They're dangerous, and they're not worth the risk. And if you truly want to increase the strength and performance of your penis, if you want more confidence and connection in your relationships, check out my other video on real, simple, and medically safe ways to improve your sexual health. It's right here on the channel, and it could make all the difference. Number 3, keep it clean, and do it the right way. This might sound obvious, but you'd be surprised how often poor hygiene leads to real medical issues. And I see it in my office all the time. If you have a foreskin, you need to make sure you're pulling it back, washing underneath, and drying the area properly. Skipping that can lead to a condition called balanitis, an infection of the head of the penis or the foreskin. It's uncomfortable, it can be painful, and in more serious cases, it may even require medical treatment or surgery. And here's something especially important. If you're not able to pull your foreskin back easily, that's a problem. Not only does it make cleaning difficult, it can also hide signs of something more serious, like penile cancer. While rare, it does happen. And I've seen cases where the cancer was only discovered when it was too late, simply because no one had looked underneath the foreskin in years. If you're having trouble with retraction, talk to your urologist. In some cases, it can be treated with a cream or gentle stretching. In others, circumcision may be recommended, but it's always better to know what's going on than to ignore it. Now, let's talk about the other extreme. Over-cleaning. Some guys use harsh, heavily scented soaps or scrub too aggressively, thinking more force equals more clean. But the skin on your penis is thin and sensitive. Strong soaps, alcohol-based washes, or rough scrubbing can cause irritation, small cuts, and even lead to infections. So here's the right way to do it. Use warm water. A gentle, fragrance-free soap. Clean under the foreskin if you have one, and dry thoroughly. That's it. No scrubbing, no fancy products, no drama. Good hygiene doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be consistent. And taking 2 minutes a day could save you from a whole lot of trouble down the road. Number 4, don't ignore pain or any warning signs. Let me say this clearly. Pain, changes in appearance, unusual discharge, blood in the urine, these are never things to brush off or wait out. And I get it. For a lot of men, especially those over 60, going to a doctor for something down there feels uncomfortable, even embarrassing. You might be worried you'll be judged or that it'll lead to something drastic. But ignoring it is far more dangerous than facing it. Pain or changes in your penis could mean a lot of things. A urinary tract infection, a sexually transmitted disease, a kidney or bladder stone. But it could also be something more serious, like a tumor inside the bladder, or in rare cases, penile cancer. Let me share a real example. One of my patients, Jim, 67, noticed a small sore on his penis. It wasn't painful, so he ignored it for months. He thought it would heal. By the time he came in, the tissue was already breaking down. What could have been treated with a topical medication early on ended up requiring major surgery, and it deeply affected both his health and his self-image. Here's the truth. Penile cancer is rare, but when it does happen, it's aggressive. And most men don't delay treatment because they don't care. They delay because they're scared. But when caught early, treatment is often simple. When ignored, it becomes a life-altering condition. So if something doesn't feel right, don't self-diagnose, don't wait, don't Google, see a doctor. If you feel judged, find a different one. But get checked, because the sooner we catch it, the simpler the solution, and the less we have to do to fix it. Number 5, stay in control and practice safe sex. Great sex isn't just about passion. It's about confidence, comfort, and connection. And one of the most freeing things you can do in the bedroom is make sure you're being safe. When you're not worried about infections or unexpected consequences, you can be fully present, with less anxiety, more intimacy, and more pleasure. So yes, safe sex is sexy. There are so many different types of condoms available today. Don't be afraid to try a few and see what feels best for you and your partner. And talk about it, because open conversation is a big part of mature, healthy intimacy. Now, let's talk about something serious: staying in control. I mean physical control, because yes, penile fractures are real, and they're more common than most people think. Here's what happens. During vigorous sex, especially in certain positions, the penis can slip out and hit the pelvic bone or thigh. If it bends sharply while fully erect, it can tear the outer layer of the erectile tissue, called the tunica albuginea. That's a medical emergency. You'll hear a pop, feel sharp pain, and see immediate swelling and bruising. It's sometimes called eggplant deformity for a reason. And here's the part you need to know. If you get to the hospital quickly and have surgery, you can usually recover full function. But if you wait, the damage can become permanent. Studies show that up to 50% of men who delay treatment develop long-term erectile dysfunction. So how do you prevent it? Keep physical control during sex. Hold your partner's hips to guide the angle and motion. And use lube. Seriously, lubrication is essential. It reduces friction, lowers the risk of injury, and just makes everything more enjoyable. And guys, lube doesn't mean there's something wrong with your partner. As women age, natural lubrication tends to decrease. That's normal. It has nothing to do with desire. And honestly, the more comfortable you both feel, the better the experience will be. This isn't about slowing down. It's about being intentional, being in tune, and making sure your sex life stays strong for years to come. Number 6, don't overheat yourself. This one surprises a lot of men, but excess heat is one of the silent enemies of male health. There's a reason your testicles hang outside your body. They're built to stay cooler than your core temperature. That's how your body optimizes sperm production and testosterone levels. When you routinely expose that area to heat, whether it's through saunas, hot tubs, heated car seats, or even keeping a laptop on your lap, you're disrupting that natural system. And it's not just about fertility. Heat affects testosterone, which means it can impact your energy, mood, libido, and even your sleep. Here's a real-world example. One of my patients, Paul, 63, was in great shape, ate clean, and exercised regularly. But he came in feeling tired, low on motivation, and said his sex drive had dropped noticeably. After running labs, we found his testosterone was below normal for his age. Turns out he was soaking in a hot tub every evening and working from his laptop directly on his lap. That constant heat was taking a toll. We made a few simple changes. Limited sauna and hot tub time, kept electronics away from his lap, switched to breathable, looser-fitting underwear. 3 months later, his hormone levels were back in the normal range, and he felt it. And there's research to back this up. A 2015 study in JAMA found that men who used saunas 4 or more times a week had lower testosterone levels compared to those who didn't. Chronic exposure to wet heat can absolutely interfere with hormone production. So here's what you can do. Limit time in hot tubs, saunas, and steam rooms. Keep laptops and phones off your lap. Sleep in loose-fitting boxers or no underwear at all. Your body performs better when you give it the right conditions. And in this case, a little cool goes a long way. Number 7, be gentle with yourself. Masturbation is a normal, healthy part of male sexuality at any age. But how you do it really matters. A lot of men develop a habit of using intense pressure or a tight grip. Over time, your body becomes conditioned to only respond to that very specific kind of stimulation. It's known as death grip syndrome. And trust me, I've seen it more times than I can count. The problem is, no partner, no matter how loving or passionate, can replicate that kind of intensity. And as a result, you may find it harder to get aroused or stay aroused during real intimacy. Your brain starts to see partner sex as not enough, because it's been trained to expect something completely different. So what can you do? First, don't treat masturbation like something shameful you need to rush through in secret. Second, use lubricant. It reduces friction, protects sensitive skin, and makes the experience more realistic. And third, try to mimic the kind of stimulation you'd experience with a partner. That way, your body stays attuned to real human connection, not just mechanical repetition. And if you're thinking, I'm too old for this to matter anymore, I've got a surprise for you. There's a full video on this channel all about daily masturbation in older men, and the science behind it might seriously surprise you. It's not just about sex. It's about brain health, hormones, even sleep. Go check it out after this video. You might walk away with a completely new perspective. Number 8, your body's health is your sexual health. You can take all the supplements, read all the books, and watch every video about boosting testosterone. But if you're smoking, sitting all day, constantly stressed, and eating like your heart doesn't matter, none of it will work. Let's start with the obvious. Smoking kills erections. That's not theory, it's a fact. It damages your blood vessels. And an erection is, above all, a blood flow event. No healthy circulation, no healthy function. And beyond that, smoking dramatically increases your risk of bladder cancer. I've seen it too many times. And I'll be honest, it's one of the hardest cancers to treat. It requires big surgeries, invasive procedures, and the long-term impact on quality of life can be devastating. But this is bigger than smoking. This is about your lifestyle as a whole. If you want to maintain strong erections, a healthy sex drive, confidence, energy, and hormonal balance, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to support your body in the basics. That means more whole foods, fewer processed carbs, move more, sit less, drink more water, less alcohol, start with short walks or light strength training a couple times a week, stretch, breathe, take care of your stress, and look, I get it. As a doctor, I know that if you've been smoking for 20 or 30 years, quitting isn't just a health decision, it's an emotional one. It's part of your routine, your identity even, and letting it go can feel like losing a part of yourself. But let me ask you this. After sex, what would mean more to you? Lighting a cigarette or hearing your partner say, "You were incredible"? Leave a comment below. Which one would matter more, to smoke or to be admired? Because that choice is real, and it's one you can start making today. Number 9, be kind to yourself. When men experience problems with erections or sexual performance, the hardest part usually isn't physical, it's psychological. The shame, the pressure, the overthinking during intimacy, it creates a kind of mental tension that works directly against your body's natural response. And then comes the vicious cycle. It doesn't work once, so next time, you're more anxious. That anxiety makes it harder for your body to respond. Then it doesn't work again. And suddenly you're stuck in a loop that has nothing to do with your biology and everything to do with stress. Here's the heartbreaking part. Most men never talk about it. Not to their partner, not to a doctor, not to a single soul. And holding that inside only makes it heavier. So if you've had moments where things didn't go to plan, where you felt something was off, where you questioned yourself, please take a moment and remind yourself, this doesn't mean you're broken. Fluctuations happen. Your body isn't a machine, it's a living, sensitive system. Sometimes it works perfectly, sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. One bad night, or even a few, doesn't define you. So don't punish yourself, don't spiral, don't assume the worst. You are not alone, and most importantly, you are not broken. Number 10, keep the fire going. Male sexuality is like a fire. It doesn't go out all at once, but if you stop feeding it, it slowly dies down to embers. And over time, even the embers can fade. For many men over 60, sex simply fades out of their life. Not because something is broken, but because they stop engaging with that part of themselves. They stop touching, they stop fantasizing, they stop thinking about intimacy, and the body starts to assume, maybe we don't need this anymore. But here's what happens physically. Arousal increases blood flow to the penis, delivering oxygen to the tissues. That circulation preserves elasticity, sensitivity, and function. Without it, tissues can harden, shrink, and become less responsive, even if desire returns. This isn't just about having a partner. It's about staying in touch with your own body, your own pleasure, and your sense of vitality. Because sexuality isn't just about age, it's about connection to life itself. Even if you're not sexually active right now, regular arousal and stimulation, whether through touch, fantasy, or mindful attention, helps your body stay ready, healthy, and capable. And if you're not experiencing any erections at all, not even at night, that's a sign it's time to talk to a doctor. There are often very treatable reasons behind it. As long as you're alive, you are sexual. Not in the same way you were at 25, but in a way that's no less real and no less worth honoring. If you've made it to the end of this video, let me say this. That already tells me something important about you. You care about your body. You want to understand how it works, and your health, your whole health, matters to you. Maybe some of the 10 points we covered today are things you've already been doing for years. Maybe a few gave you something to really think about. I'd love to know which one stood out to you the most. Or maybe you realize there's something you haven't been paying attention to until now. Drop it in the comments. Your insight might just help someone else start paying attention too. And if you want more honest, clear, and medically sound conversations about men's health, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. You deserve to feel confident, not just in the bedroom, but in every part of your life. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.